We talk a lot about how modern diets affect our waistlines, but what if the biggest danger isn't just about the pounds we gain, but about the very rhythm of our hearts? Let's get into how what you eat might be creating a hidden electrical threat from the inside out.
We've all heard it a million times, right? Steer clear of high-fat, high-sugar diets. But what's really fascinating is that new science is uncovering a link that's so much more direct and immediate. We're not just talking about clogged arteries down the road. We're talking about something that could be messing with your heart's fundamental electrical wiring right now.
Okay, so the whole story really kicks off with something called metabolic syndrome. Now, this isn't a single disease. Think of it more like a collection of red flags that all tend to show up together. It's your body's way of screaming that your metabolism is under some serious stress, usually from, you guessed it, diet and lifestyle. And that metabolic stress we were just talking about? Well, it turns out it can trigger some pretty alarming changes inside our most important organ. It's a process that scientists are now calling electrical remodeling. And yeah, it's as serious as it sounds.
A really groundbreaking study out of the University of Valencia has put this whole connection under a microscope. And what they found is a crucial, startling piece of the puzzle that ties our diet directly to the heart's electrical system. So here's the headline from their research. A diet that leads to metabolic syndrome can literally, and I mean literally, rewire the heart. This remodeling happens in the ventricles, the heart's main pumping chambers. It makes them unstable and dangerously prone to serious rhythm problems. We're talking about things like ventricular fibrillation, which is just a chaotic, life-threatening heartbeat.
That is the big question, isn't it? I mean, it seems like a massive leap to get from a donut to the actual electrical signals firing away in your heart cells. But the answer, it turns out, comes down to one single incredibly powerful hormone. And that hormone is insulin. Now, we usually just think about insulin and blood sugar, but its job in the heart is so much more important and complex. You could almost think of it as the conductor of a massive cellular orchestra. So if we zoom way down to the cellular level, this is kind of what it looks like. This diagram shows the crazy complex signaling network inside just one heart cell. And yeah, it looks like a lot because it is a lot. This is basically the master control panel for keeping the heart healthy. But don't worry, we can break this whole thing down into 3 simple steps. So in a healthy heart, the process is actually pretty elegant. Insulin comes along and docks onto a receptor on the cell's surface, kind of like a key sliding into a lock. That single action kicks off this critical chain reaction inside the cell, which is known as the PI3K/AKT pathway. Think of it as flipping the main power switch for the cell. And when that switch gets flipped on, all the good stuff happens. This one pathway protects the heart muscle. It makes your cells survive when they're under stress. It promotes healthy growth. It helps your blood vessels relax for good blood flow. I mean, it even manages energy storage. It's the blueprint for a strong, healthy heart.
But with metabolic syndrome, that beautiful, elegant signaling system starts to fall apart. The conductor starts to lose control of the orchestra.
The cells are just getting bombarded constantly by high levels of insulin because of a high-sugar diet, and eventually they just start to ignore the signal. This is what we call insulin resistance. The key doesn't really fit the lock anymore, and all those critical messages get lost or, even worse, totally scrambled. And look at the consequences of that. Everything gets turned completely on its head. Instead of protecting heart cells, the broken signal actually leads to cell death. Instead of relaxed blood vessels and good blood flow, you get constriction and poor blood flow. And instead of a balanced, calm system, you get a firestorm of inflammation and oxidative stress, which is basically just cellular rust. The whole system just goes haywire. And this chaos, right here, is the direct cause of that dangerous electrical remodeling that the Valencia study found. The heart cells are stressed out, they're inflamed, they're malfunctioning, and all of that changes how they conduct electricity. It sets the stage for those life-threatening arrhythmias. Now, the story could end right there, but a clue from a completely different part of medicine gave us this stunning confirmation of the heart metabolism connection. And it came from the most unlikely of places, patients with end-stage heart failure who were getting a kind of last-resort mechanical treatment, and doctors started noticing something really strange was happening with their metabolic health. The device is called a left ventricular assist device, or an LVAD, and it's pretty much what it sounds like, a mechanical pump that's implanted to take over the work of a failing heart, making sure blood gets to the rest of the body. Its job is purely mechanical. Or so we thought.
Okay. This is where the story gets wild.
doctors started to see something incredible happen after implanting these pumps. Patients, even those with diabetes, suddenly started having dramatically better blood sugar control. They needed less insulin, their fasting glucose numbers dropped. In a lot of ways, their whole body's insulin resistance just started to reverse. Just think about what that means for a second. The LVAD was only supposed to fix a plumbing problem, bad blood flow, but by fixing the plumbing, it was also somehow solving an electrical and chemical problem throughout the entire body. It was this incredibly powerful piece of proof that just restoring the heart's basic function can have a massive impact on our whole metabolic system.
So this surprising discovery really brings us full circle, right to the core connection, giving us this powerful new way of understanding our own health.
There's a quote from the research that just sums this all up so perfectly. The heart is an insulin-dependent organ. It doesn't just pump blood, it is actively listening to and relying on the signals from insulin to work properly, from its physical structure all the way down to its electrical beat.
So what we've really seen here is that the path from the food on your plate to the actual rhythm of your heart is shockingly direct. Your metabolic health and your heart's electrical stability, they are not two separate things. They are one and the same, deeply intertwined by that complex web of signals inside every single one of your cells.
And that leaves us with a really provocative final thought. The LVAD experiment showed that fixing the heart helped fix the metabolism. The Valencia study showed that a broken metabolism wrecks the heart. So if they're that deeply connected, maybe it's time we stop treating them like separate conditions and start seeing them for what they really are, two sides of the very same coin.